Hello and welcome to Big Orbit Games unboxing video of the new Weiss Schwarz release, Disgaea. So my name is Simon and I'll be doing the unboxing today. So this set, obviously brand new to English. I think the first ever release for Weiss Schwarz was the trial deck. It's all those many years ago. This release though is in English, and the set is a combination of all of the released Japanese sets. So the trial deck, then the main booster, the extra booster, and quite a lot of the promos as well, I believe. I think there's only a couple of the promos that they didn't print in the set, probably keeping them special for some promos themselves in English. So, what we're going to do is open the packs and take a look through. Now, I'm no expert by any measure on Weiss Schwarz. I know how to play the game, and I have a Cancoli deck, and usually teaching people how to play. But when it comes to the actual game, I'm not much of an expert. So what I'm going to do is just mostly flick through. If I see interesting cards, I will highlight them. Pardon me. That one's interesting, for example. So, excuse me. So, Petit Thief, level 0, cost 0, 2,500 power. It has no attributes. Act, pay 2, choose one of your opponent's characters in the center stage. Until end of turn, that character gets minus 1,500, and this character gets plus 1,500. Now, I just find it interesting. It has no attributes, and it also steals power, which is something in English, at least, I don't know about Japanese, that you don't see very often. And power stealing can be quite fun. Always minusing your opponents. It's effectively a 3,000 difference, if you will. Aloof Margin is a double rare, so this almost tricked me because unfortunately in this set the rares aren't hollow, which is a real shame. I don't like it when they don't make them hollow. I think it's always a shame when they miss that. So, but anyway, this is our first double R. So Aloof Margin Etna is a level 3, cost 2, 9,500, so a little bit low for a level 3. Continuous, if all of your characters are Prinny or have Etna in their name, this card gets plus 2,000 power. So there we go, that's where it went. And when this card is placed on stage from hand, you may put the top card of your clock into your waiting room, so you get to heal 1 as well. So fairly straightforward, level 3 actually. You get healing effect and then a power buff. So yeah, fairly straightforward. And we have Overlord Summon for the climax. So yeah, that's a fairly straightforward level 3 actually. There's no climax combo, there's no trickery, it's just a straight up gain a bit of extra power and do a heal. So a little lackluster, if you will, actually. Genius Magic Knight, Prinny, because of course who doesn't love Prinny, and you can get the sleeves of this artwork as well and they look really cool. Dark Hero Axel, Overlord Spot Cecily, Girl Ninja backup, which is useful, Master Big Star. Asuka Crane Kicker is our rare. And then the Prinny Wars is our climax, when I remember words. So level 0, cost 0, 2,500 power. Continuous, if your opponent does not have any climax in the waiting room, this card gets plus 1 soul. So probably very good early on, or hopefully if you quite late on if your opponent's just done a refresh of the deck. But I'd imagine throughout the majority of the match, unfortunately you're not going to be gaining that extra plus 1 soul. New Overlord, Dumbfounded Etna, President Raspberry, Superhero Aurum, Fallen Angel Flown, Unusual Frog Dink. So this guy, level 1, cost 1, 4,500 power. Continuous, if the number of climaxes in your waiting room is 4 or more, this card gets plus 2,000 power, and I find that an interesting. A little bit of setup required. You need half your climaxes ditched to gain that extra boost, but it does make it 6,500 at level 1, so it can be an effective level 1. Act, pay 3 and put this card into your waiting room to choose one of your opponent's level 2 or lower characters in the stage and put it on the bottom of their deck. Now that I really like. The 3 stocks and maybe a little high 2 would have been better, but yeah, to tuck one of your opponent's cards to the bottom of their deck is probably one of the cruelest things you can do, because if you put it to stock, at least they can spend the stock and get it back relatively easily by salvaging, etc. But tucking something, it's always so mean. And Overlord Mal is our rare. So level 2 costs 2, 5,500 power. Continuous, this card gets plus 1 soul for each card in your level, so the later the game, the higher it goes, and it's already got 2 soul. And then auto, pay 2 when this card attacks. If you have To My Lab in your climax area, you can pay the cost to choose one of your opponent's level 2s and put it into their stock. So you can make way for that big soul attack, and that's useful because he's only got 5,500 power, which is quite low for a level 2. And then the climax was King of the Earth. So unfortunately I've never watched Disgaea, I'm sorry to say that, or played it. I've seen clips, I've seen people, I've seen references, but I've never actually sat and played it myself. So my apologies. I will correct that as soon as I can. This one, Demon Awaiting Instructions Barbara. Just neat. She, when you use a backup, she gains her own plus 2,000 power as well. So that's quite nice. Unkind Demon Etna. Netherworld President Junior Emizel, which is one of the climax cards. Climax combos. So during your turn, all of your other characters get plus X power, X being 500 multiplied by their level. So nice little back row sister. An auto, pay 2, put this card into your waiting room when you play Vow of the Phoenix Climax, to choose a card named Death Emizel in your waiting room and put it on the stage position that this card was on. So change effect. Package from Celestia Sicily. Childhood friend Raspberry. Sorry, what did I say, Raspberry? Killing Machine Sapphire. And then the rare is Ding Dong Ditches Axel, which is just a fun name to say. Level 0, cost 0, 2,000 power. Act, pay 1 and put this card into the waiting room to return all cards in your opponent's waiting room to their deck. Shuffle your opponent's deck afterwards. Now that doesn't sound on the surface like a particularly cruel ability, but it is. Because so many decks in Weiss rely on salvaging, etc., that shuffling your opponent's graveyard back in, waiting room back in, it's just mean. And then we have Final Weapon appears. There's a lot of tricks that I've seen so far in this set that they're making for interesting play. I'm not sure if they're completely and utterly game-winning, game-changing effects, but they're certainly interesting and they're certainly going to irritate your opponent. Dark Hero, so this is one of the events. So level 1, cost of 2, it's a backup. So you can put the top card of your clock into your waiting room. Choose one of your characters and that character gets the following auto. When this card is put into your waiting room from the stage, you may return this card to its previous stage position as rest. So yeah, why would you not run Dark Hero? So fantastic card. Battle Arena begins. Absolute loyalty, Fenric. Young Etna, oh, adorable. And Final Boss Training, Desco. So this is a level 2, cost 1. 2 abilities. Auto, pay 1. When you have a card named Final Weapon appears on your climax area, if this is in center stage, you can pay the cost to choose one of your opponent's cost 0 or lower characters and put it on the bottom of their deck, so more tucking stuff away. And then auto change, pay 2 and put this card into your waiting room. At the beginning of your on-call step, if this is rest, you can pay the cost to choose a card named Final Weapon Girl Desco in your waiting room and put it on the stage position this card was on. So it's a change effect. I like change effects because you get to cheat levels out early usually. So, and then we also have Demon and Angel Bond as the climax card. Plus, the change effects, they for someone like me who's not, massive into Weiss Schwarz, they do really help with deck building. So, Dumbfounded Etna, Strongest in the World Etna, President Raspberry, Superhero Aurum, Flom, the Love Maniac, Amaz von Almondine Adamant. So that's a bond with the Killing Machine Sapphire. And we have a double R. So Fuku Kazamatsuri, I don't know. Sorry for butchering names as I always do. Level 3, cost 2, 10,000 power, 3 abilities. So continuous if the number of cards in your deck is 5 or less. This card gets -1 level while in your hand. Little situational. I always find that you end up going away quite rapidly, resetting the deck when you're getting down to the 5s. But with that situation where you don't, it's a level 2, get it out early. Auto, when it's placed on stage from hand, this card gets plus 3,000 power and plus 2 soul until end of turn, so that makes it a 13k 4 soul hitter. Oofed. And auto, pay 1 when damage dealt by this card is cancelled. You may pay the cost and your opponent cannot use auto encore until end of turn, including the default pay 3. That is just mean. I love that card. I appear to have mixed my rarity piles up. Sort that out in a sec. And we have Even a Demon Needs Love. Aww. So just quickly get, I think it was, there you go. It's such a shame they're not in foil. Why do they do this? Why? Why didn't they print them in foil? So, nice Bodist. Back together. Busty, Girl Lahara. Master of the Forbidden Chamber. Overlord's Daughter, Rosalind. Self-centered Overlord Lahara. And the rarest Tyrant, Valvatores. I hope I got that right. And Trust This is the Climax card. So this is a level 2, cost 1, 5,000 power. Auto, when it's placed on stage from hand, choose one of your other demon characters and that character gets plus 1,000 power until end of turn. And auto, when it becomes reversed, if the card's battle opponent's level 2 or low, you may reverse that character. So fairly straightforward. Automatically reverses if they're 2 or low, which is good. And then it gives you a little power buff when it's played. So it's quite a good value level 2. It's just a bit low on the power side at 5,000 really. Mystery Demon, Xenolith, Nurse, how's that? Altina, Netherworld Honor Student, Big Sis, Fuka. Super Alloy Grade, Flonzor's 10, or X, depending how you want to say it. Pudding Mountain, and Dominating Presence of Netherworld Laurel. And then we have and Have Become Legend as the climax, which is quite awkward to say when you think about it. So, level 1, cost 1, 3,500 power. Continuous assist, all of your demon or angel characters in front of this card get plus X. X equal to 500 multiplied by their level. Quite a simple, straightforward assister, better for the later levels. Yeah, and pretty much everything from the set is an angel or demon, apart from the Prinnies, which are Prinnies. Although, like we saw that thief earlier, which had no attributes, which is just weird. Player 2, Etna. So it's the colour variant version. All of your other demons or Prinnies get plus 500 power. That's a good back row assister. Jennifer, Defender of Earth's Assistant. Hades Warden Axel, just a vanilla. Jeffrey. So he's a level 1, cost 0, 3,000 power. Continuous Alarm. When this card is the top card of your clock, all of your characters get the following ability. Auto, when this card's battle opponent becomes reverse, you may put that character into your opponent's stock. That's nice, it hides them away into the stock, and it's not very often you see something that directly does an ability from the clock itself, so that's really cool. Kyoko Needleworker, and Trainer of Prinnies, and then for the rare we have Awakened Angel, Pure Flon, and the Climax Supreme Overlord Girl. So, for the rare, it's a level 2, cost 1, 8,000 power. Auto, put a card from your hand into your waiting room. When this is placed on stage from hand, if the number of your other demons or angels is 3 or more, you can pay the cost to look at up to 4 cards from the top of the deck, choose up to 1 demon or angel, reveal it, put it into your hand, and put the rest into your waiting room. So it chews out a little bit from the top, gives you a little bit of draw, and then you drop in the rest in the waiting room, and I guess you just salvage them or just wait until you've had your refresh, or even your change effects, I guess. Samurai Legend, Overlord's Dignity, Majin Etna, Perfect Version Des X. So, level 2, cost 2, 8,500 power. Continuous, if your opponent's level 3 or higher, this card gets plus 500 power. And Encore, put a character from hand into waiting room. That's quite nice. Gets a little more powerful if your opponent is ahead of you in terms of level. Maybe it just gives you a little bit extra to finally finish it. Broadcast Incident. We'll move on quickly. Conspiracy of the Schoolboard. And Pringer X. Oh, look at that. So, level 3, cost 2. 10,000 power. Continuous. This card gets plus 1,500 power for each marker underneath it. Continuous Great Performance. When your opponent attacks, if this card is in the middle position of center stage and not reversed, your opponent frontal attacks this card instead. An Act. Put one of your other Prinny characters from the stage underneath this card as a marker to give it plus 1 soul until end of turn. So yeah. Ooh. if you can get a couple of those down, get a nice big soul bonus on there. Ooh, that could be quite good actually, Pringarex. I like that. And then we have Overlord Summon for the climax. So yeah, it looks like there's a bit of a Prinny archetype you can build into there. But then why would you not want to? It's Prinny, he's cool. Trespasser from Celestia, Captain Gordon, Pampered Child, Sexy Demon Wish, Hanako. So level 0 cost 0, 2000 power, and I've stopped on it because it's the Brainstormer. So act Brainstorm, pay 1, reveal 4 cards as always, and for each climax choose one of your characters and it gets +1 soul until end of turn. So on average you're getting 1 to 2 soul bonus there, which is cool. Death Emissal, Cell Phone, and then for the rare Beliefs of a Maiden Fuka. So level 2 costs 1, 7500 power. Auto, put a card from your hand into your waiting room. So when you play Prinny Wars, if this is center stage, you can pay the cost to choose a level 2 or lower character facing the card, return it to your opponent's deck, and your opponent shuffles their deck. And then Encore, put the top card of your deck into your clock. So you can damage yourself to keep it alive. But that little Prinny War combo is quite neat, being able to shuffle your opponent's cards back in. I think it's just so disruptive to... Oh, and we have Newlywed Queen. It's just so disruptive to tuck your opponent's cards back into their decks and stuff like that, rather than just moving them to stock or waiting room. So we have Elusive, Demon Awaiting Instructions, Battle Maniac Adele. Nice! NSP, Aloof Majin Etna. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So pretty. So we saw this card earlier, so I won't read it out again. But that is so nice. There we go. Compare those two a little bit more up close. Secretive Teacher, Prince of the Netherworld. Oh, we got a double R in the pack. That was a good pack. Unemployed Etna. So it's a very Etna focused pack as well. Level 1 cost 1, 5000 power. Auto, when it attacks, if a card named Supreme Overlord Girl is in your climax area, all of your characters get plus 1000 power until end of turn. And Encore, put a character from your hand into your waiting room. That's a good double R. Overlord Almaz as the climax. So far from this box, it looks like I'm making a very an Etna themed deck. Etna and Prinny. Helplessly Useless Archer. Thank you, camera. Sadistic Etna. Robust Princess Sapphire. Special Assassination Task Force Leader. Caretaker of Prinnies. Young Sister Aura, Cicely. And Mystery Angel, Cicely. So, level 1 costs 0, 5000 power, and auto, when your other demon or angel characters attack, this card gets plus 1000 power until end of turn. So potentially 2k buff, so 7000 power, level 1, which is nothing to sniff at. Overlord passing through for the climax. Yeah, it's not too bad a power buff. It's actually higher than some of the level 2s we're seeing here. Sarah Flemington, Super Robot Thursday, Delinquent Student, Rosalind Servant, they're all mine. Ah. So this is level 1, cost 0, it's an event. Choose a climax in your opponent's waiting room and return it to their deck, and if you do, shuffle your opponent's deck and put 2 cards from the top of your deck into your stock. Ooh, I like that. Rasparil and Sapphire, Power of Sardines is the rare. I'm sure that means a lot to anyone who's watched this. Level 0, cost 0, 2500 power. Continuous if the number of your other characters is 1 or less. This card gets plus 1000 power and the following ability. Continuous, this card cannot become reverse from your opponent's character's auto effects. So yeah, so if you've got quite a small field, that's useful. I suppose there's quite a few that sort of drop themselves to the waiting room to gain benefits. So you might actually be in a position where that happens, which means it gets a little bit more powerful, and your opponent can't use their reverses on you. Elite Red Mage, Genius Magic Knight. Coming up next, Overlord, Dissection Experiment, Strongest Overlord, Aspiring Final Boss Desco. Oh, and the climax is Vow of the Moon. So this is a double R. Level 0, cost 0, 500 power. Continuous, all of your other clone or death characters get plus 500 power. And Act Brainstorm. Pay 1 and rest it to reveal 4 cards, and for each climax revealed, draw up to 1 card. Ooh. It's a brainstorm with a draw. That's useful. And then, of course, as always, the global assist is always a welcomed rule. Printing Squad, New Overlord, Dark Hero, Overlord Spot, the crossed out 60-second Netherworld President Axel. So he's interesting just because level 0 costs 30,500 power. When he becomes reversed in battle, put this card on the bottom of your deck. And then he's also got Act, rest 2 of your demons to choose 1 character and give it plus 2,000 power. Yeah, and you can put him on a back row and just use him for his resting and buffing ability. It's just funny that when he gets reversed, put him in the deck. Defender of Earth Curtis. And then Most Evil Overlord is our double R. So level 2 costs 2, 7,500 power. When this card attacks, if a card named Overlord passing through is in the climax, until end of turn, this card gets plus 3k, and the following ability: when its battle opponent, there we got there in the end, becomes reversed, you can deal 1 damage to your opponent. Nice and simple. And then it's also got Encore, discard a character from hand. Useful. And then Birth of a New Overlord. Yeah, dealing extra damage to your opponent. That's always a good thing to do, especially in wands. I quite like dealing damage in one little chipping away at wands. Less likely for it to be cancelled. Space Detective Guardian, Bow Revival, Girl in a Prinny Cap, Mal, The Dark Assembly, Important Allies, Winged Slayer is the rare. So this is an event, level 1, cost 0. Perform the following action until you level up. Put the top card of your deck into your clock. All of your opponent's characters get minus 3,000 power until end of turn. I think this is probably one of my favourite cards I've ever seen printed in Weiss Schwarz, just because of how unique and useful it is. Assassin from Celestia is the climax. Yeah, because then auto-leveling, I mean, it can be a double-edged sword, but it does mean you get access to the cards that you really need. And to be fair, in this one, you might want to skip sort of like your level 1, really. Try and get straight into those level 2s as soon as you can, so the power levels are very relevant. And it also negative power to your opponent's character, so I really like the Wingslayer. Strongest in the world, Etna. Out of Control Artifact. Middle Schooler Who Fell to Hades, Adele and Rosalind, Rebel Against God, Angel Training, Supreme Overlord Harl. Sorry, I'm mincing my words today. So it's a level 3, cost 2, 10k. When it's placed on stage from hand, you can heal 1. And Act, put this card into your memory. Choose up to 2 angels or demon characters in your waiting room and return them to hand. It's a little steep putting into the waiting room, but then it stops you just recurring him, I guess, and just keep getting them back and back and back. Siblings Conversation for the climax. So, penultimate pack. To be fair, we've had a signed card, so we know we're not getting anything overly shiny, but another double R would be quite nice to pull at this stage. Home Economics Teacher, Mr. Champion. So, like superhero shows, Flon. Oh, and then we got To My Lab as the climax. So yeah, so this one level 2 costs 1, 500 power. Auto, when you use its backup, so backup is 3,000 by the way. When you use its backup, put the top 3 cards of all players' decks into the waiting room. So a bit of a downside to both players when you do that. But at the added benefit of getting a 3k backup, which is nothing to sniff at. Although this set probably needs the extra, all the extra backup it can get. So for our final booster, let's have a look and see what rare we get. And we get Evangelist of Love Flon. Aww. And Overlord Outmas of the comics. So level 0 costs 0, 2,000 power, and continuous if the number of other demons or angel characters you have is 2 or more, this card gets plus 1,500, so 3,500 power. So there we go, so that's everything out of my box of Disgaea. So you got 5 double R's, 2 of which were the Etnas, so can't complain there. It's a good start. And then we've got a signed Etna, and the RR version as normal, so you can see the difference, different artwork. Oh, it's so pretty, so nice having that signature. So yeah, so there we go. And obviously plenty of single rares. Overall, the set, unlike a lot of sets which seem to have been coming out recently, it's not just a simple beat stick deck high power. There's a lot of tricks and shenanigans from the looks of it, and lots of messing around with your opponent, which sounds like so much fun. Which is a wrong thing to say, I guess, but it looks like this could be a really fun deck to play. Certain builds of it, certainly. Just for messing around with your opponent's cards, just tucking them back into their deck and stuff like that, and Wing Slayer for auto-leveling yourself and stuff, you know? So yeah. So there we go. Overall, I really like the set. I'm going to have a think about trying to build one of the decks from this, just to mess with my opponents. Come on, it's going to be worth it. You might not win, but it'll be a laugh. So there we go. So if you'd like to know anything or have any questions or thoughts, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Remember, everything you've seen here today can be bought and sold as individual cards on our website, bigorbitcards.co.uk. As always, remember to like and subscribe. I hope you have enjoyed watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.